Goeiemorgen, good morning, groetso, bonjour, salamat. Now, on to holding the yarn. There are just about as many ways to hold the yarn and the hook as there are people who crochet. There are, I think, four important parts for holding the yarn. I'm going to demonstrate these 4 parts by showing you how I do them, which is by far not the only way or necessarily the best way. Part number 1 is whatever is comfortable to you. People have different anatomies and do different other things in life which has developed their joints and ligaments in different ways, and so therefore number 1 is find what works comfortably for you, because you do not want to be uncomfortable while you're crocheting. Okay, then you need to find a way for the yarn to flow through, so that if there's any kind of knot or bubble or something, as the yarn gets through there where you want to work it, it must sort out all those bubbles and turns and twists. For me, that is accomplished by wrapping it around my little finger once. So now as I'm working and the yarn pulls through, there you can see where it's pulling through, it straightens out everything, and the yarn that's coming out, called the working end, the piece that you are working with, is all very smooth and free of knots, and you can feel any knots long before they reach your crochet work. So I accomplish that by wrapping it once around my pinky, little finger. Then the second part is making sure that you have some way of controlling the tension. For me, I do that by letting the yarn rest upon my forefinger. I think of it almost like the feeding arm on a sewing machine. I can stretch it out, and then as I'm working, my finger drops down to keep the steady tension on the yarn. And when I need to feed more yarn, it stretches out, which runs the yarn through the pinky. Yeah, as you can see there. And then as I'm working again, my forefinger drops down. When I need more yarn, I lift up my forefinger, which makes the yarn run through all the way there, and it keeps on working smoothly. As I'm crocheting, the finger will drop again, and in this way there's a continuous feed of steady tension. And then the last part for me is I use my thumb and forefinger to hold. At any time while I'm working, if I need to hold it right there, I can pinch with these 2 fingers, since they are not involved in any of the yarn feeding mechanism. They can help to hold the crochet work. If for some reason I need to stop the tension on my pinky, I just close them, and then the ring finger goes with it automatically, because anatomy. Okay, so let's recap that. Find the way that is most comfortable to you. For me, it is wrap the yarn around my pinky, back up across my forefinger to control the tension, and then grab the working end. One more time. First I'll make the slip knot so you can actually see it happening. Crochet hook in, around my pinky, over on top of my fingers, forefinger for the tension, middle and thumb holds it. So now when I'm working, you can see the tension here moving. If I need more yarn, pull up on this finger so There you can see, if I can get the point showing, there you can see the yarn runs through as I lift up the forefinger, and I can keep on working. And as I'm working, this will get shorter again, which means I can lift up, and if at any point I need to hold it there and, you know, like adjust the camera or drink some coffee or any other such useful things. Speaking of coffee, you can buy me a coffee. Second part of it, that is holding the yarn. Second part of it is holding the needle. Now, because there are very different shapes and sizes of needles, and once again different people and anatomies, people also hold it differently. The two most commonly used is what is known as the knife grip, where you grip it like you're gonna, you know, like spread your bread or something. The knife grip, the back side of the crochet hook fits kind of underneath your hand, and the other most common way of holding the hook is what is known as the pencil grip. So the back end of the crochet hook is on top of your hand. I think this is probably easier for really, really fine work, since you have more specific control. It also depends on your hook. Here it would be easier to hold the flat part of the hook, which is usually where the size is written. It will be easier to hold here. Especially when you have one of those ergonomic hooks with a big, like rubbery stuff around it. Maybe they're not as comfortable with this. Again, find whatever is comfortable for you, because hopefully you're going to be doing it for a really, really, really long time. Next up is how to make your first crochet stitch, the chain stitch.